Hello, today I'm going to show you my improvements to my minecart routing designs. Behind me I have built a demo of what you could achieve using minecart routing. In this video I'm going to show you the different versions I designed for different needs, and then show you how this network you are seeing works. So here are my designs. There are three different shapes of where the circuit is, like inside a bend, outside a bend, and on the corner of a T intersection. And each of those has three versions: normal, inverted, and toggleable. Let's first see how this works with one of the simplest designs to understand. If I send a minecart that has nothing in it, it will go to where the track is pointing by default. If it has something in it, but it's not what the track is looking for, it will do the same. But if it has what the item filter is set to, in this case redstone, it will change the track direction for just a split second so that the minecart can go through. And not only that, it will retain all of its items. In this case, you can see I put in a stack and it goes out with a stack. All of these designs work the same way, it's just the circuit is positioned differently to make it more easy to fit in different places. So let's see how this works. It has three parts, and in this design they happily fit inside a single slice. We have the hopper, which is supposed to filter an item from the minecart to see if it has it. Then we have the droppers that put the item back into the minecart. And then we have this little slice that is in charge of swapping the direction of the track for just a split second, so the minecart is rerouted. Each of these sections is the pink one, just an item filter. You can see its entirety right here. And the content of this is just the item you want to filter, and then 21 extra items. Then this slice is meant to trigger the droppers one tick later. This is the closest you can return the item to the minecart. Believe me, I tried. And it has to be just one redstone tick later. So this is the only way I found of transmitting this signal to the droppers as fast as possible. The target block powers this dropper, and there's another dropper down here that has a node block below this target block, because this also powers this diagonally, but it needs an update to realize that, so the node block provides the update. Finally, we have the track switching, and this is what varies from version to version, the inverted and the toggleable. We need to take this signal and one tick later power the track. In this case, if the corresponding item falls into the hopper, it powers the track for a bit and it can change direction. The other two versions of this change how this works. In this case, the green circuit is replaced with the purple one. We take the inverse of that. So this track is now pointing the other way by default, and when an item falls, it goes that way instead. This is important because if you want to use this circuit in different directions, the way minecart track works is that they prefer going southeast. So at some points the default of the track will be what you want, but at some points it won't, and you will have to use the normal circuit in some places and the inverted circuit in some places. Finally, I made a version that lets you choose what is the default for the track. In this case, it switches to going forward if the item is found, and in this case it switches to going right if the item is found. And I have achieved this with a copper bulb that can retain the state either normal or inverted. Just an observer is looking at this dust. The strength of this goes to 2. The observer picks that up and powers the lamp, which toggles its state, and this reads the state, and this dust transmits that to the rail. So the other versions are just other shapes of that same thing. Here we have the circuit on the outside of the curve. Here we have the bulk of the circuit in the inside of the curve. I tried my absolute best to keep everything on this side of the rail, but I had no way of powering the curve without bringing a block up here, because if I powered it from below, it also powered the droppers, and in the inverted version, if they are always powered, then they can't fire. So this is as compact as I can do it. If we move this one further, then it's much easier. Actually, I have a design over here. This one is the same circuit, but you can see easier how we can power the track one block ahead. This is inverted, and this is normal. So if only I didn't try to make it as short as possible, this would have been such an easier solution. But for the sake of compactness, I banged my head against the wall for 3 days to get you this. So in this case, the item filter is still the pink circuit, but it's a little bit bent to the side. And this powers this block, which completes the item filter with this torch. But also it powers the bottom dropper. What was the cyan circuit here, which powered the droppers, is now slabs, because I need to run cables behind it. And this needs to power the dropper by quasi-connectivity. If I make this into a full block, it's not going to work, because this line is usually at 1 power and it always powers the dropper and it doesn't trigger it. So I need it to be a non-solid block, so that the signal has to come to here to power it. So how do we trigger this block? We need this signal that comes from the item filter. When it goes to 2, I just wind it up with some target blocks and normal blocks, torches, powers this. So same functionality as before, returns the item, changes the direction. The inverted version has the pink circuit and the cyan circuit the same. It's just that the way we take the power up to here uses a repeater and a torch instead of 2 torches. And there is a toggle level version, but you can choose if it default is to the right or forward. Basically, the power goes here, the observer sees it under the rail, and it toggles the lamp. Finally, we have T intersections, which are pretty much the same as that one, just the way that we transmit the power to the curve changes. You can probably pause at any moment in this video and see the entirety of the circuit yourself. The carpets are not necessary, are just a way for me to color the target blocks to identify which circuit they come from. And here's the toggle hour version, which uses, again, an observer looking at this change to toggle this lamp 2 times. So, how do we make that routing system? The routing system is inspired by the roundabouts and the routing that HillMCC used, which is a really neat system for routing minecarts. The difference is that his system detects if an item is inside of the minecart when it enters the roundabout. That way it not only loses the ticket, but there is a big circuit that senses that and propagates changes to the corresponding exit. In my version, there is just one of those circuits I showed before on each corner, and they are independent. So each corner listens for an item and it gives it back. So now I've set up every filter. This one is specific for the redstone. So if I want to send a minecart there from anywhere on the roundabout, I can just put the minecart there with any amount of redstone, and it should end up there with the same amount of redstone it started with. So we can use that to make chains of directions and send minecarts from far off locations and in a complex network. So let's say I'm here in my mine, and I want to mine coal and send it all the way there to the furnace array. So what steps do I need to take to get from here to there? When I come to this roundabout, I need to take the red road, then the green road, then the blue road, and finally I want to go to the coal, which is filtered as coal blocks. So I'll take a coal block. My minecart will come here, unload, and then it will go back here. It already would have the green block, so go left, have the red wool, so it will go right, and I want it to come back, so I needed to take this exit, which I have marked as smooth stone. So with all of these items inside, and let's say a ton of coal blocks, because that's what I want to send, I can send the minecart. It will take the red exit, then the green exit, then the blue exit, deposit the coal, and go back. Put the green exit, red exit, and finally home. So there are still a few problems with this. Mainly minecarts can collide. They can be very close together and not break, like 3 or 4 blocks apart. And since these things are independent, one can be moving through one corner and the other can be moving through another corner. But if they collide, they will get some items messed up and they will start taking the wrong routes. Other than that, I need to work on some signaling stuff to prevent minecarts from entering certain areas at the same time. But I still think this is really cool, and people may be able to make some really smart stuff with it. A final note, I've been prototyping for 3 days non-stop, and this is the smallest I could make it, which is a gorgeous little circuit. I send a minecart here with redstone. You can see it goes to the right, and it retains all of the redstone. Other minecarts will go straight. But there is a huge problem with this, that as you can see, the curve track is on top of the dropper. There is no physical way of making this any smaller. The issue is that this does not work in all 4 directions, it only works in 2, because when you turn this around, this track will want to go the other way. So I found a workaround by doing this horrible thing, or this horrible thing, and delaying the returnal, but it's not as elegant as this, and I really wish minecart tracks were consistent in all directions, because I am so sad that this circuit doesn't work. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.